28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, yes, 48.
Speaker, respectfully, item number 3 on page 48. 3I. Respectfully, the appropriate thing to do is to record the name of Dominic Akurintinga Ayini into bracket doctor. We don't have to bring a Mr. and add doctor again. When the person has a doctorate, you don't add a Mr. Then that should also go for 3II. Mr. Justice Tremsai. It should be Dr. Justice Tremsai or Justice Tremsai into bracket doctor. I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, table office kindly take note, and also take note that these days those with PhD don't write DR. They write the name and end it with PhD. That is the current practice now. Page 49, page 50, page 51, page 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of Saturday, 29th March 2025 are hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. First Deputy Speaker to take the chair.
Our members' official report dated Tuesday, 18th March 2025, under correction. Honourable members, those standing, kindly resume your seat. We are looking at the official report of Tuesday, 18th March 2025. Honourable members, in the absence of any correction, the official report of Tuesday, 18th March 2025 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honourable members, we also have official report of Wednesday, 19th March 2025, and it is for your corrections. Honourable Brahma, kindly take your seat. Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official report of Wednesday, 19th March 2025 is hereby ordered as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, the official report of Thursday, 20th March 2025 is under correction. Honourable members, in the absence of any correction, the official report of Thursday, 20th March 2025 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Yes, Majority Leader. Honourable members, business statement.
Right Honourable Speaker, your committee met today, 27th May 2025, to arrange the business of the House for the week ending Friday, 30th May 2025. Speaker, the committee proposes that you may read any available communication to the House communicated through you. Pursuant to Order 91-2, Ministers of State may be permitted to make statements on government policy. Honourable members may also make statements admitted by your good self. Under Order 159, bills may be presented to the House for first reading. Those of an urgent nature may be taken through the various stages in a day in accordance with Order 160. Pursuant to Order 97, papers may be laid during the week, and reports from committees may also be presented to the House for consideration. Motions may be debated, and there are consequential resolutions, if any, taken. Mr. Speaker, the committee welcomes all members back from recess. Second meeting is expected to be demanding. Members are urged to make themselves available. There are many significant businesses, including the mid-year fiscal review of the 2025 budget statement and economic policy of the government, which is expected to be presented to the House for consideration. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Order 2162 and subject to Order 67, the committee submits to the House the order in which the business of the House shall be taken during the week for consideration and adoption. Thank you.
Honourable members, business statement duly presented by the majority leader. It is now time for members' comment. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, the Minister for Energy and Green Transition briefed this House on the missing containers. At the time, he indicated to us that close to about 1,134 of the containers were missing. This morning, there's a report in the Daily Graphic that indicates that 2,637 of the containers, which is twice the number that he reported to us, have been retrieved. If it pleases the committee, we will want the minister to appear before us to give us the latest data on the issue.
Well, honourable member, you know the procedure in bringing the minister to this house to respond to the issue that you are raising.
I just wanted the business committee to schedule him. If you will take your time. I just wanted to plead with the chairman of the business committee to schedule the minister for this week to brief the House on the latest development in light of the report on the front page of the Daily Graphic. That's it.
Well, Honourable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I plead for your indulgence for comments by members, and then the leader of the House can respond to them in whole. Speaker, let me commend the majority leader and the chief whip, the entire leadership on the other house, half of the House, on a matter I cannot elucidate on, but just commend them and a running concern that members have spoken to severally, and the majority leader has dutifully worked on same and has brought good relief to the entire House, particularly started off with our first-time colleagues. Even though it's work in progress, I find it appropriate that it should be commended. Speaker, just a few observations. Concerns about delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament and the Pan-African Parliament, another representation has come up strongly before we rose. And we were not able to bring finality to the same matter. We risk missing out on the next meeting of the Pan-African Parliament. So I humbly wish to bring to the attention of the leader to make sure that we work with dispatch, because I'm told very soon the call will come through officially. So that will be on the delegation. Because on committee composition, in order to ensure that we don't stand in defiance of our standing orders, the last time a few members were only in just a committee. Not right. And hence, myself and the chief whip had worked extensively to ensure that we deal with that anomaly. I know the report is ready. I want to plead with leadership so that we work on it ASAP and get the motion. Either we are doing it administratively or going by motion, that we can take the motion on the House floor. There is simmering. And I'm saying we should be able to take the motion, the report on the constituted committees, the amendment. We should be able to take the motion and get it adopted. Yeah, but it's your leadership work. So I defer to leadership. So there is some simmering worry about statutory payment. And I know the majority leader is very dutiful when it comes to these matters. But the worry is simmering. The worry is simmering. And I want to plead that I know the finance minister is scheduled to be in Cote d'Ivoire. I'm told he's going to be a returning officer for the AFDB elections to be held in Cote d'Ivoire. If we can schedule him to appear either Friday or Thursday, or his deputy at the committee of the whole, because it has been the practice so that they carry us along what the strategy and the plan is. Because we are in arrears of close to 20 billion. The common fund, I concede that for the health fund, we are yet to pass the formula. So that one can be distinguished. Common fund, get fund, SIF, third quarter payment to Parliament, then Electoral Commission. It's pathetic. The last election, which our colleagues won hands down with an emphatic majority.
Absolute majority.
Yeah, I concede.
Very well.
No contest. Now, the Ghanaian, the patriotic citizens of this country who worked to ensure that you win are still not being paid. I am told some close to 200 million is outstanding. And those temporary staff who were recruited by the Electoral Commission have not been paid. I plead that something is done about this ASAP. As we got to put matters in proper context, we also have concerns about the road fund payment. So, in a nutshell, the outstandings are getting out of hand. And when the majority leader, our respected majority leader, was giving his remarks, he said that there is a renewed optimism. I don't get the optimism. In the face of this outstanding, the optimism is increasingly turning into pessimism. And I pray that, and I know he's capable, it's not beyond him. When he sits quietly listening to me like this, I pray something good will come out of it. So in a nutshell, let these statutory payments be honored. And we will want to have one of our own. The finance minister should come to the House at the committee of the whole and give us some briefing what the outstandings are and what the strategies are. I know he can't pay all at a go. Plan for installment payment, what he intends to do. Now, let me conclude on the note that the majority leader has already intimated that there are a number of bills in the offing coming to this House. We want to plead with ministers. We on this side are ready to work. Because we are not ready to entertain absenteeism. Some of the ministers are punctual. I can name off head, the road minister is always here. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Education Minister is here. Honorable Muntaka is often here.
Honorable Minority Chief, which part of the business statement are you commenting on?
Speaker, I am commenting, Speaker, it's getting out of hand. Yes. Concerns about Galamsey. The public is interested to know what the plans are. Well, it's sad. Speaker, we heard him when
Please
he said...
address the chair.
Speaker, I'm addressing you. With the greatest of respect. The plans, we are going to do categorization, we are going to do blah, 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 we are going to reclaim our lands, water bodies are going to be reclaimed. The last budget, the house was approved. No show. There was no dedicated amount for reclamation of water bodies and land.
I know the minister, I saw him this morning. Can we program the lands minister to come and apprise us? This is a matter of public interest. Many Ghanaians are interested. Because your good self, you are interested in it. What has been the action line? What are the lessons we can learn as a country? And maybe they have a plan of declaring a state of emergency. All these matters the House needs to know. And I'll be glad if the majority leader can take a decision on this matter. Finally, on our systems. Yes, I see a number of documents displayed. I tried to punch on the agenda just to have an idea on the catalog of businesses as scheduled. And nothing was showing. Because we have had this system for close to 6 months. We were told that it's work in progress. And as we use the system will be upgraded along the line. It is not encouraging. As we also want to reduce our carbon footprint so that we can reduce the printing of these voluminous documents and be able to access soft copy on the system. Can I plead with the majority leader? You have too many things on your table. Maybe you can offload this to our respected chief whip, so that we can put finality to this system and get value for money. Parliament and the Republic has spent a lot of money for this system. It can't be a situation that the system will not be functioning, and yet all these monies will be doled in lieu of the usage of the system. So I believe that we come atop it and make some amendment and ensure that we get the full benefit from the system. Having said that, I want to commend my respected leader for the prompt nature of his response to the concerns that were raised, and to urge him that he should listen to me well and ensure that we get the finance minister program to appear and to apprise us on the delay payment. Officers of the Electoral Commission are crying. Assemblies are crying. Educational institutions are crying. Parliament itself is crying for the release of second quarter release. Parliament is crying. And this cannot be the appropriate reset. Let us feel the impact of the reset agenda. This cannot be the reset agenda. So I thank you for your indulgence. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Honorable Minority. Yes, Doc.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to also join in commending the leader for the business presentation of the business statement, and to also thank members of the business committee for the thorough work. But Mr. Speaker, tomorrow on the business statement, Wednesday, item number 2C, there is supposed to be a report of the Finance Committee on the Ghana Cocoa Board Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, to the best of my knowledge, the Finance Committee hasn't yet considered this referral. And the leader of the committee, the chairperson, indicates that we shall be doing that from the 31st of this month. But no, the report of the Finance Committee, that is what, pardon? Okay, well, sorry, indicated. Mr. Speaker, I got the sense that the report from the Finance Committee on this particular bill was supposed to be laid by the chairman of the committee, but I've just been guided that it is the bill, it's the laying of the bill before it is referred to the Finance Committee? Thank you very much.
The bill is not referred to the Finance Committee, so the Finance Committee cannot be laying reports before the introduction of the bill. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the leader of the House for the business statement. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with the minority chief whip concerning the reconstitution of the parliamentary delegation to other ECOWAS parliament, especially to ECOWAS parliament. Mr. Speaker, as we speak now, ECOWAS parliament is sitting in Abuja, and only 4 of our people are there. 1 sitting MP and 3 non-sitting MP who are still members of ECOWAS parliament. And Mr. Speaker, you get to know that Ghana has not presented its country report. All other West African countries have presented their report, but Ghana has not presented their report because this House has not presented a new delegation. And so I want to agree with him that we, as a matter of urgency, we must take decision on the membership this week, so that if it's even 1 or 2 people who can go and join our other colleagues there to complete the task that is set before them before the closure on the 31st of this month. Mr. Speaker, having said that, the Right Honourable Speaker has formed a committee, has asked a committee which I chair concerning the disturbances that occurred during the ministerial nomination and vetting. Mr. Speaker, the report is ready, and I want to plead with the House, with your indulgence, that tomorrow morning we can take the report and lay this matter to rest. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Majority Leader, your response to the comment.
Mr. Speaker, the issue of the composition of delegations to international parliamentary bodies is being resolved. Even this morning, I think I had some discussions with the minority chief whip and gave him clear indications of my position on the matter. If that understanding is accepted, I believe the matter will be resolved easily with dispatch. So, Speaker, the other matters that have been raised about ECOWAS, I think also are related to some critical question of percentage allocation of members between the majority and the minority that has held us for a while. So I believe that given the conversations we had this morning, those matters will be resolved. So, Speaker, I think that the issue of common fund and the statutory payments, I was hoping that the Minister for Finance would be able to make a statement today, because what was holding him was some approvals to guide the transfer of the funds to the assemblies. Those approvals have been given, and the minister had actually requested me for an opportunity to come and communicate the guidelines to parliamentarians before transferring the funds to the assemblies. The minister is hoping that members of parliament will assist monitor the utilization of the funds. You will recall that the government has a policy of ensuring that 80% of the entire fund gets to the assemblies. This is a significant investment in the assemblies, and we want parliamentarians to be actively involved in monitoring the utilization of the funds so that the funds are used for the most important needs of people in the districts where the funds are going. So I can assure you that the funds are ready. The minister was hoping today to make the statement and then transfer the funds. Unfortunately, you yourself indicated that he was called upon to serve as a returning officer in Ivory Coast. And so at very short notice, I had to cancel the statements that he was to make to this House, which will herald the transfer of the various funds. So I want to assure you that the funds are available. Regarding other payments that you have also questioned, I think that the minister will answer, but I know that some of the payments are predicated on some audits that needed to be done. And I know that they are far advanced in those audits. And so very soon, payments will be made in respect of a lot of the outstandings that you are talking about. What I can assure you is that the payments will be made. We are looking at this in early next month. And we also want to assure members of the public that even after the payments, the stability that we are experiencing will be sustained. So, Speaker, I think those are the issues generally. I don't recall if there are any outstanding matters that are to be responded to. I think that later in the day, there will be an opportunity for us to provide some briefings to members about some matters that he raised concerning the situation of first-time members of this House. And at that appropriate time, we'll provide further and better particulars. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further comment? You want to speak on the business statement again? Yes, you have the floor.
Speaker, I appreciate the sincerity in the response of the leader of the House. However, I tend to wonder
if it is appropriate that the House approves of a formula for the distribution of the DACF. And it turns out that the minister says, I'm borrowing the respected leader's answers. The minister says, I am unable to disburse because I have guidelines that have to be communicated even after the formula has been approved. I find that incongruous, and I think we will all have to revert our minds and ask some questions. Because it is not for nothing that Parliament is mandated to approve of the formula. And once we approve of the formula, the minister's duty it is to disburse. If you reference the budget statement, the minister made it clear that 80% will be sent directly to the assemblies, which I support in total. My concern is about the guidelines more or less serving as a hindrance to the disbursement. Then, the audit.
I'm aware a matter raised about the EC. Leader, there was the Electoral Commission. Yeah, I think you forgot. There's an outstanding close to 200 million, and we're told some audit exercises were being carried on. The exercise is done what? And it's important the leader relates to that matter because the audit has
Yes,
been
I
done.
think he said he will address it.
Yes,
Because the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies visited the independent constitutional bodies, including the EC. So this issue was came up, and he will speak to it.
I think so. Thank
Any
you.
further comment? Yes, Majority Leader.
Like the Right Honorable Speaker has indicated, the issue of the outstanding payments to officers who worked for the EC during the just past election will be addressed. It is part of the budget of 2024. It was approved. The funds were made available, but during the transition, somehow there was a general sweeping of accounts, and that affected them. But the finance minister has given them firm assurance that once everything is sorted out, the funds will be returned to them. Like Right Honorable Speaker has indicated, we visited them as a committee and they brought it up with us, and we assured them that we'll follow up on it. So rest assured that it's a matter that we'll push for payments to be made to the EC.
Honorable members, the business statement as presented is hereby adopted. Honorable members, we have admitted 2 statements. One is by Honorable Habib Idrisu, Member of Parliament for Tono, First Deputy Minority Whip, on 2025 Hajj and Eid al-Adha Festival. Honorable Member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make a statement on the 2025 Hajj and the Eid al-Adha Festival. Mr. Speaker, Hajj is not merely a travel activity. It is a profound spiritual obligation for Muslims immersed in centuries of religious heritage. Our Constitution, 1992 Constitution and Article 21(1)(c) guarantees every citizen the freedom to practice any religion and to manifest such practice. As such, I rise this afternoon compelled by duty, faith, and fidelity to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to address developments surrounding Ghana's current Hajj operation. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed, I would like to seize this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude and profound appreciation to the Right Honorable Speaker, Mr. Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Babi, and on behalf of the Muslim caucus of the 8th Parliament, we appreciate his unwavering support he has extended to the Muslim caucus through the provisions and support for the Umrah, which we have done every year for the last five years. This gesture is nothing short of remarkable indeed. It is unprecedented in the annal of our history. Mr. Speaker, your generosity and commitment to the welfare of Muslims stand as a shining example of leadership with a heart, a legacy of compassion that remains unmatched. You have not only set a benchmark, but have also demonstrated what it truly means to be a leader who bridges faith, its exclusivity, and benevolence. For this, we are externally grateful, and your name will forever be entrenched in our heart as a true champion of the Muslim community. Mr. Speaker, I was privileged to serve as a member of the Ghana Hajj Board under the previous administration, We worked with transparency and integrity to ensure that our pilgrim has a safe, dignified, and spiritually fulfilled experience. Though it was not an easy task, especially on the issues of fares, we ensured that standard of care, accommodation, logistics, coordinating were never compromised. Indeed, our pilgrims might have paid more, but they travel with peace of mind and return with their dignity intact. Mr. Speaker, the current government must be commended for reducing the Hajj fare by 13,000 Ghana cedi, from 75,000 to 62,000 Ghana cedi. However, the unfortunate reality unfolding does not reflect the reality of the living condition of our pilgrims, enduring inhuman condition in the Holy Land. They have taken to social media and other platforms to lament over inadequate accommodation, poor feeding, disorganized schedule, disrespectful treatment by handlers, and in some cases, outright neglect. Mr. Speaker, the gravity of the crisis in this year has forced the public relations officer, one of our own, Honorable ABA Fuseni, publicly apologized to Ghanaian pilgrims, those affected by the visa issue. In his admission, our Constitution provides that the fundamental human rights and freedom enshrined in this chapter shall be respected and upheld by the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, and all other arms of government. The state's failure to protect pilgrims through the Hajj Task Force violates this sacred duty. Article 17, pilgrims face discrimination, neglect in Saudi Arabia, and in some instances, they were evacuated from their hotel. Mr. Speaker, this is a violation of Article 34.1, which mandates that the state policy must establish a just and a free society. There is nothing just about pilgrims sleeping on floors or going hungry. There is nothing free about silencing grievances while failing to deliver basic services. Mr. Speaker, the situation calls for urgent national reflection. Governance must not be reduced to sound bites and optics. Faith-based programs such as Hajj require technical knowledge, transparency, and commitment to the welfare of citizens, and not shallow political scoring. The reduction of the Hajj fare was clearly not based on any comprehensive assessment of cost and service delivery. Today, the consequences are clear. The very people who were supposed to benefit from the reduction of the Hajj fare are now suffering from same. Mr. Speaker, over the last 8 years, Hajj organization has been successful, even though without challenge, but it still managed to be successful. In this case, in 2025, it has been a serious problem resulting from bad hotels, distance of hotels to the Holy Spirit, and pilgrims are now suffering to catch up, whether praying or to cater for their own life. Mr. Speaker, Article 35 of the Constitution enjoins the state to promote the integration and unity of all Ghanaians and to provide equal opportunity for all. Let us remember that the pilgrims are not only Muslims, but they are equally citizens of Ghana. They are our fathers, they are our mothers, they are our leaders and constituents. We must rise above partisan consideration and ensure that never again do Ghanaian pilgrims suffer in pursuit of a sacred duty. Mr. Speaker, let the truth be known and let responsibilities be taken. The politicization of Hajj has failed us as Ghanaians. It is high time we take politics out of the organization of Hajj. It is high time we take politics out of its pricing, accommodation, the services rendered. It is time to restore dignity, competence, and faith in this important national and religious endeavor. Mr. Speaker, the organization of Hajj is about competence and care. The politicization of Hajj
has failed. Let us restore dignity to this sacred journey and let us have a trouble-free Hajj. Our current pilgrims in Saudi Arabia are suffering. Our current pilgrims in Saudi Arabia, much don't have accommodation. Others are going hungry. Our mothers and our fathers are suffering in the sacred land. And for that matter, the committees of parliament responsible for such, the foreign affairs and the youth and sports, should take up this matter and collaborate with the Hajj task force to ensure that the necessary attention are given to the pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, honourable members. Statement ably made, and it is now for honourable members' comment. Yes, Honourable Dr. Samuel.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. And the Committee on Chieftaincy, Religious and Cultural Affairs is really interested in this issue of pilgrimage. We, as a country, is a religious nation. Over 75 Christians and over 20% Muslim is something that we have to be proud of as a nation. And we want to encourage such pilgrimage across both the Christian fraternity and the Muslim fraternity as well. Mr. Speaker, it's quite unfortunate that we have Ghanaians going out and they will have to go through such difficult times as they're trying to build themselves both spiritually and physically. And we as a nation will want to support them with all the needed resources that as they go, they can come back spiritually strong and to be able to improve on the peace that we intend to build for our future generations. So, Mr. Speaker, the committee, as I earlier said, is interested and would want to look further into what happened as a committee responsible for religious affairs of this August House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by the First Deputy Minority Whip in respect of the contribution of Speaker towards preparation of our pilgrims who are embarking on a trip to Mecca.
Honourable Majority Chief Whip, hold it. Honourable Member, you've been on your feet for some time. Are you on point of order? Please continue.
And some matters are rising. Mr. Speaker, it's true that the contribution of Speaker towards this annual religious ritual is notable. So it's in order that he's commended for it. But I think that the member ought to commend the President of the Republic for the monumental drop that he directed from the fare of 75,000 Ghana cedis to now 62,000 Ghana cedis. That is a drop of 13,000 Ghana cedis difference. And it is very significant. Mr. Speaker, as I speak, contrary to the matters raised by the maker of the statement, our pilgrims are flying from Tamale to Mecca directly and flying from Kotoka in Accra also to Mecca directly. For the past 3 weeks, flights are lifting off and landing in Mecca. So I am shocked to hear that suddenly our pilgrims are hungry and have no accommodation. And they are going through the processes. This is pilgrimage. Mr. Speaker, I am. Let's be very frank and give credit where it is due. Speaker, as we speak, the maker of the statement says that the reduction of the air ticket was not done in comparison or based on any assessment at all. Not based on any assessment at all. But the benefit is that if I had to pay 75,000 cedis last year, this year naturally the fare would have gone up. But the president says, I am reducing the fare. And the shortfall is borne by the state. That is where the commendation must go. Speaker, again, the first deputy minority whip laments the fact that some appointees serving on the Hajj board have been removed. Oh, you said they have been removed. Well, let me quote you. You are lamenting that for some reason, persons who are serving on the Hajj board now lack institutional memory. As a result of the fact that those who were there before they came have all been removed. And that you quoted the Constitution to support the fact that there must be fair treatment of all public staff or all persons within the public space. I agree. But if you refer to matters of institutional memory, then we should have had people who were serving on the Hajj board since 2015. In 2017, they were all removed. So that practice, I agree that you and I, sitting here, there was a Hajj board before year 2000, Mr. Speaker. There was a Hajj board before year 2000. But upon the onset of year 2000, 2001, somebody directed that it should be removed. So this practice of removing people from public space for new ones to take over when there's a change of government, it began from you, it began from this side. So if today you lament that it's a bad practice, yes, I agree. So we must depart from that path. And I hope that in 30 years' time, when you come, you will be removing people from the Hajj board. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend, contrary to what the maker of the statement is saying, I want to commend our own colleagues, Alhaji Collins Dauda, who is in charge of the preparation so far regarding getting our pilgrims to travel successfully to Mecca and back, ably assisted by the Honorable Member for Mankarigu, the Honorable Mahama Shaibu, to do this. Mr. Speaker, if you visit the Hajj village, the sheer number of pilgrims who are going through the process, the sheer number of persons, loved ones who have come to assist so that they embark on the trip, presents a certain challenge logistically. But they have weathered the storm. Speaker, arranging transportation for persons to travel from here to Tamale to board and to fly to Mecca in their hundreds. It takes some challenge and ability to do that. Securing flight arrangements for people who are on the ground here to embark on the trip from Kotoka also presents some challenge. It took some skill for them to go through all that. And luckily, if God gives us tomorrow, Mr. Speaker, I believe the last batch will be airlifted. And so I want to use the opportunity to commend them for good work done. And we pray that this year, none of our pilgrims who have been flown to Mecca will suffer any fatality, and that all of them will return home in good health, having gone through the Umrah. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Doctor.
Thank you very much.
You have the floor.
Choosing for ourselves that we believe in some tenets of faith, be it Christianity, traditional religion, or Muslim or Islam. Mr. Speaker, Hajj has been performed over time. This is not the first time pilgrims are moving from Tamale to Hajj straight. For the first time, consecutively, pilgrims, since they started moving from Tamale, it's been a ritual practice. And I think that if this current government is continuing with that, we only commend them for continuing in a precedent that was set and a practice that has been tested to be very much efficient in the management of Hajj affairs. Mr. Speaker, but the issues this year, the sheer neglect of pilgrims, the deplorable conditions some of these pilgrims are living, the inhumane environment, the, if you like, the insanitary conditions of these pilgrims are facing in Hajj is not something that you want your family member to live in. Mr. Speaker, it might be as a result of lapses, and we have to admit, because an event of that nature, you cannot organize it without challenges. We have to admit. But the challenges we are facing this year are far more enormous. I have gone to Hajj. I participated in the last two billion, and that is why the respected leader of the House, the Mr. Dafiamakpo, is wanting us to praise the government for good. If government decides to build cathedral, which is a problem, but this, a different government decides to subsidize Hajj, and it's okay. It is the matter of government priorities, and we will not want to go into the propriety of that. But the subsidy program is what was holding the Hajj program. But that notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding, the subsidy program came in. Many of the people who applied, they didn't get visas. Over 50 people, the Hajj board reported that over 40 people did not get visas. These were people who duly paid for their pilgrims to go to Mecca by no fault of theirs. Due to institutional failure, they could not go and perform a ritual. And you think that we should not talk about this year, Mr. Speaker? It is important we acknowledge the faith of these people. It is important that we first acknowledge it and put in measures so that subsequent programs, subsequent journeys will not be faced with such programs. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, there is this talk about the fact that the NDC government has done something radical different when it comes to the organization of Hajj. Mr. Speaker, the previous government realized the need to facilitate Hajj program, and that's why we commenced the Hajj village program as part of the airport extension or airport development program. Fortunately, this government came in to inherit that program and commission it. If we had not started this brilliant idea, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure the government would have seen the need to continue with that. So, Mr. Speaker, let us be mindful that when it comes to Hajj, it is a ritual journey that those who embark on that journey will have to be protected, and their safety, their health, and their welfare must be prioritized by the government, and we should all be seen supporting the statement made by Honorable Idris Habib, the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, for this brilliant statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Minority Whip, not Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Shaibu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me comment the maker of the statement for insightfully and initial paragraphs outlined clearly what the issues of Hajj have been. Indeed, he's been on that seat for the last 3 or 4 years. And when you organize an Hajj, the issues and the problems that go with it. Speaker, let me put on record that government has not subsidized Hajj fares. It should be on record that the Hajj task force negotiated competitively this year's Hajj fares from 75,000 Ghana cedis to 62,000 Ghana cedis. That is effective negotiation. And I would want to put that on record. The maker of the statement should be commending the task force for reducing fares by 13,000 Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker. The second one is that last year, an estimated 3,500 pilgrims, thereabout, were airlifted to Medina and Mecca. This year, Mr. Speaker, we are airlifting 5,910 pilgrims per the available statistics and data. That is a whooping jump. Indeed, as a human institution, you will have challenges. The same accommodation the honorable leader used in the last 2-3 pilgrimages is still what we have used. Indeed, because of the numbers, from 3,500 to 5,910, we have had to add additional accommodation. The issues of sheer neglect by the honorable member for Walwale in sanitary conditions, I think, are just too harsh to comprehend. We have indeed done the very best to manage this year's Hajj. Let me commend the leadership of the current task force. Mr. Speaker, Hajj normally will start with meetings, what we call the Hijra meetings, in the later part of October and November, right into the preceding year. Indeed, Ghana missed out on all the Hijra meetings of last year, up until elections. And so we nearly lost out, Mr. Speaker. Very importantly, Ghana nearly lost out in attending Hajj this year. But for the timely intervention of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who hurriedly put together the Hajj task force to manage and get us back onto the 2025 Hajj season. So indeed, there would be issues, but they are being surmounted, Mr. Speaker. As we speak, the last batch of pilgrims, Mr. Speaker, will leave the Kotoka International Airport tomorrow at 2 p.m. And that would have signaled the end of our 14-flight movement from Accra and Tamale to Jeddah and Mecca. Indeed, it is a solemn season, a season to reflect on all that the pilgrims will wish. We pray that the Almighty Allah will take them to Hajj safely, accept their prayers, and bring them back safely. I thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. And let me commend my brother for raising the issues that are surmountable on the floor. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, we also have a statement standing in the name of Honourable Ramadan on the need to address The statement is on flooding in Adenta constituency and the need to address the illegal putting up of structures on waterways. Remember, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in recent days, parts of the Adenta constituency have experienced significant flooding due to heavy rainfall. This situation has caused disruptions to daily life, property damage, and raised serious concerns amongst residents about the state of our drainage infrastructure and flood preparedness. Mr. Speaker, as a constituency, we do acknowledge that flooding is not a new issue in the Adenta constituency. However, the increasing frequency and intensity of these events demand urgent and sustained action. The Adentan Municipal Assembly is actively engaging the relevant national authorities, including the Ghana Hydrological Services Department and NADMO, to coordinate a comprehensive and immediate response. Mr. Speaker, our immediate priorities include clearing and desilting of major drains and waterways to ensure the free flow of storm water, immediate assessment of flood-prone areas to provide relief and support to affected households, accelerating the completion of key drainage projects already underway within the constituency, and community engagement and public education on waste disposal practices and flood safety. Mr. Speaker, the recent flooding incident in the Adenta constituency is a stark reminder of the urgent need to address short-term and structural challenges that continue to affect the safety and well-being of our residents. Over the past few days, several communities within the constituency have suffered from the flooding and posing a serious risk to lives. Mr. Speaker, one of the primary causes of this recurring issue is the encroachment and construction on natural waterways and drainage paths. These developments, often carried out without proper permits or environmental assessments, obstruct the natural flow of water, leading to overflows and flash floods during heavy rainfalls. Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue to ignore the consequences of unregulated urban development any longer. It is essential that city planning authorities, traditional leaders, developers, and community members work together to enforce zoning laws and protect environmentally sensitive areas. Mr. Speaker, as the Member of Parliament for the Adenta constituency, I am committed to working closely with the Municipal Assembly, the Ghana Hydrological Services Department, and NADMO, and other relevant stakeholders to 1. Identify and demolish illegal structures built on waterways. 2. Enhance and expand existing drainage infrastructure to accommodate the increasing volume of water runoff. 3. Educate the public on the environmental and safety impacts of improper construction and practices. And 4. Considers long-term climate resilience and community safety. We are also calling on residents to support ongoing efforts by avoiding dumping refuse into drains and reporting any blocked or overflowing drainage systems to the authorities promptly. Mr. Speaker, this is a collective challenge that requires both government commitment and community. We remain resolute in finding lasting solutions to this recurring problem and will continue to push for increased investments in resilient infrastructure for the Adentan municipality. Mr. Speaker, I wish to extend to all affected individuals and families. Your safety and well-being are our top priority. Therefore, let us come together to protect lives, property, and the future of our constituency. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity to make the statement. Thank you.
Honourable members, the statement is ably made by Honourable Ramadan. Any comment? Yes, Honourable Former Minister for Rules.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by Honorable Mohammed Adamu Ramadan, a fine gentleman from Adenta constituency. Mr. Speaker, the issue of flooding, as was experienced in Adenta constituency, resonates beyond constituency boundaries. Indeed, it is a national issue. As a boy who grew up in an urban community of Bantima, Kumasi, and also an MP from an urban community, I am acutely aware of the challenges of flooding and its economic impacts. The Speaker, the economic cost of flooding in our country is so huge to the extent that it undermines our development efforts as a country. When Honorable Kabiru was speaking, he mentioned the fact that there are certain issues that should transcend beyond politics. One of such issues is flooding. As a minister, former minister for Western Housing, I am very much aware of various interventions that governments over the years have made towards the fight against flooding. In fact, during the period of President Akufo-Addo, flood control measures, investment in flood control measures alone was about 600 million Ghana cedis, flood control. And that was unprecedented. No other government had made such investment into flood control, apart from the regular drainage infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, flooding, we all know that there's inadequate drainage infrastructure in our country. Over the years, as I mentioned, over time, government continued to enhance the drainage infrastructure. But regardless of the investment we make in the drainage infrastructure, there are two key things that if we do not control, it will undermine the various interventions by government to curb flooding in our country. That is unregulated urban development. The Speaker, there is enough body of laws in our country to prevent unregulated development. The Local Government Act empowers the district assemblies as the highest planning authorities in our country. Whenever a development is going to be made, whoever is going to initiate the development has to apply to the district assemblies to make sure that there is permit before the person can start the development. But what do you see today? Haphazard development all over. And that is the main reason why we are experiencing these flooding events. So I want to take this opportunity to urge the political actors as well as the local government officials to be up and doing and implement to the letter the provisions as enshrined in the Local Government Act that can help prevent flooding in our country. Another issue is also the haphazard disposal of waste. Everybody knows that when you put waste into our drainage channels, it blocks the way to the extent that when it rains and the water cannot find any other place to pass, it will just overflow into the communities and it creates flooding. But yet, people continue to dump waste into our drainage channels. We continue to blame government, we continue to blame the district assemblies. The Speaker, what are we also doing as citizens? I'm urging a community action against this issue of flooding. Because once the community come together and prevent people from building on waterways and prevent people from dumping solid waste into our drainage channels, we will go a long way in addressing this flooding issue. There's power in community action, Mr. Speaker. Even more powerful than the power of government. If people come together, they can do a lot to protect our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend once again Honorable Mohammed Adamu for coming out with measures that can help address the issue of flooding. But there's no better measure than encouraging the citizenry not to sit on the fence, not to behave as spectators, but to behave as active participants, so that when they see that somebody is dumping solid waste into our drainage channels, we can report that to the appropriate authority. When someone is developing on waterways, that we all know that is the reason why these flooding events have been occurring, it will go a long way in addressing this issue of flooding. Otherwise, government will continue to commit funds to build drainage infrastructure, and yet our own actions and inactions will undermine the effort of government. So this should not be politicized at all. We should see this as a national problem, and every Ghanaian must make an effort to take part in an effort to fight flooding in our country. With these few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to once again commend Honorable Mohammed Adamu Ramadan for this thoughtful and insightful statement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I now give the floor to Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Vedra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me commend my brother, the Member of Parliament for Adenta, for drawing the attention and drawing the public's attention to what has happened in Adenta recently. Mr. Speaker, it is true, I live in his constituency. It is true that there was a flooding, and some people, as I speak now, are being housed in some hotels, and we have to pay for those who are being housed in those hotels. Mr. Speaker, we also be told that we've lost 3 lives, 3 precious lives, as a result of this downpour that has, overflowed our drainage. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend him because he has drawn our attention to the fact that the major cause, one of the major causes of this perennial overflooding of our drains is basically people taking the law into their own hands by building houses on waterways. Mr. Speaker, how long can we come to this house and draw the attention of authorities that building houses on waterways is not allowed and is not permitted? Mr. Speaker, you'll be surprised that the owners of this apartment, owners of these houses, were given license or permit to put up houses. Who are those who give permit for the construction of apartments and houses on these waterways? It is our authorities, municipal authorities, the planning authorities. And so, if someone has been given authority or permit to put up a house in a waterway, and the person has decided to put up that house, it is not only those who have put the house who are culpable, but the planning authorities must also be held accountable. That is why I'm siding with him that the municipal planning officer, those who gave permit to legally, permit those who put houses in legally acquired areas, should also be held accountable. In addition to that, those who did not acquire any permit before putting up the house, those people should be taken to the law court and be sanctioned, because 3 precious lives were lost as a result of somebody's negligence, as a result of somebody's wickedness by putting a house on a waterway. Apart from that, Mr. Speaker, those of us in the built environment from our profession, there are new way of doing things. When you go to Netherlands, there was reclamation and they put their houses. So how can't our hydrological authorities also come up with a new way There's new way of drawing, designing drainage. Now we have open drains. How can we continue with open drains? Why can't we have closed drains? Because in his statement, he said people were dumping, debris and things in the gutters or drains, and that's what causes the choking. Can we have closed drains? And if you have a closed drain, you only have a galley. That rod you use to rod whether there's a clocking or not. But if you have open drains and we continue designing and constructing open drains, people will, by all means, with our level of education, will dump debris in those gutters. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to plead with the Delta municipality and all other municipalities that they should take their time when they want to give permit to put up houses. They should take their time. And also, I agree with him that let's do rezoning. If we cannot go with the new way of doing things by constructing French drains or constructing closed drains, then let's make sure that before permit is given, we do the right thing. With this few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I want to thank the maker of the statement also.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, let me try and be brief on the subject matter raised by my good friend, Honorable Ramadan. Speaker, I couldn't or I can't agree more with Honorable Asenso, who says the matter replicates across the country. So even though our colleague is limiting himself to his constituency, we may have to inflect and look at the effect of it across the country, especially now that we have the rains here, and look at it in broader context. Then we can prescribe solutions in that sense. Honorable Bejra, who I know is a professional in the built environment, has related to the issues well. I'll try and categorize my observations in threefold. First has to do with the separation of waste. Yes, the Honorable Bejra says we should have closed drains. Yes, we can have the closed drains, but that would take some time because of the exacting nature of it in terms of finance and the cost. So in the meantime, we should be able to separate our waste. We can't justify why, as a country, we still, in fact, globally, Africa is probably the only part of the world where we don't separate our waste. We lump the entire waste together, and as a result, it reduces our ability to process the waste and then the reuse or reusage of the waste. So that matter, and it's so fundamental. We are also concretizing our cities, just like that. Every part of the city, you are putting concrete there. So you don't have buffers. So once you don't have these buffers and it rains torrentially, then the flooding will be a welcome news. It will be a matter of course. It will be a matter of course. Now, the grant in other jurisdictions, I think Indonesia and other jurisdictions that I know of, the granting of building permits comes with the issuance of seedlings. So you are granted building permits to put up a structure. You are giving seedlings to nurture, plant, nurture, and ensure that their seedlings grow. So all over the cities, you have plants and vegetation consciously done. An industrialized country like Germany, we got Berlin. you have a lot of trees in Berlin. This vegetation, they help. One, in absorbing excess water. One, also help in the carbon sink equation. So, and thankfully, we have a very fertile land. In any part of our country, if you plant, it will grow. It will grow. We've had a number of projects, the Conti project, the number of projects that were supposed to help, the Gary project was supposed to help with the desilting, the provision of more drains, and for some of them, there are question marks how the funds were used. So, Speaker, unless incrementally we improve, we cannot make a significant impact. The assemblies must have a role to play. And I cannot agree more with Honorable Bajia when he says people at the assembly will grant permit. I'm not saying all of them. Many of them will grant permit anyhow. And then it will lead to destruction of properties and lives. And these people go scot-free. And then we come back to the government, central government, and say the central government should provide more funding for provision of drains. It will not happen. So we must get our facts right. Ramsey sites are all being encroached upon. Ramsey sites, which are supposed to serve as natural buffers, we are building on Ramsey sites. The last time the president himself, and I saw the president, Excellency, the president himself on television, questioning why Ramsey sites were being encroached upon. And we have city authorities who are sitting idle. I wish you could, in your wisdom, you could give some consequential directives, not because it's a denta, because it has a more a significant ramification. The rains are here, and we should be seen to be planning and doing some things right before it gets out of hand. If you agree with me, we should do some directives and expect the Minister for Works and Housing and even the local government minister and the committee relevant, they should do some work. We can't lament on the statement and just go and sleep. And I think that is a matter we should take in good strides. So as we are in drawing the curtains, I think we should look at the granting of building permit. We should reduce the concretization of our cities. We should help in the plantation of more trees. And the assembly should be brought to book. Those who are not working, we should deal with them. They should face the rigors of the law. And the Minister for Works and Housing and the local government minister should be brought into action, and something must be done. Speaker, we can't lament and just leave this matter to rest. And I implore you to give some consequential directives for us to take some further action, and the conversation can go on, because now the rains are coming more. We are going to have more rains. And the people of Adenta and other places that are prone to flooding will be at the mercy of the weather again. No.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, what are you doing? Please address the chair.
So, in conclusion, I implore you to give some consequential directives on this subject matter, because it goes beyond the borders of Adenta. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, majority leadership.
Speaker, I want to see the place for the Honorable Lukuto to have the mic.
Honorable Maxwell Lukuto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I must first of all share the condolences of the House to the people of Adenta, especially at the lakeside area. Ironically, the area is lakeside. It means there is a lake. And so it's unfortunate that people build so close to the lake, and some of these issues happen, and they have found one thing. Let me also commend the Regional Minister for Greater Accra for a good job done, especially at the Tema area, where she started demolishing some houses that were illegally built on the Ramsar site. Like the Honorable Minority Chief Whip said, this is a holding area for excess water from the cities. It is because these days we build so much everywhere and there's concrete everywhere. Water doesn't seep into the soil, and so it has to be held somewhere. Unfortunately, where it has to be held is where we also go to build. The issue about permitting, it will interest you to know that most of the people who do these illegal structures do not have permits to build where they build. And there are times that they engage in a lot of rezoning activities. Rezoning means that the place has been zoned for an open space, a green area where water can collect. But they are rezoned into industrial areas. And sometimes, ironically, it is some powerful in society, the rich, our pastors, the politicians, anybody, put pressure on the district assemblies to be able to grant permit for some of these structures to be built. And so when these things happen, the poor who have lived there earlier bear the brunt of our dire need to want to fit in an already congested area. Most of us are not interested in going to the suburbs to be able to build our structures. We want to build right in the city center where the place is already choked. Also because our transport systems are not too good. So somebody wants to live close to Parliament so that in 10, 15 minutes he can drive to Parliament instead of going to Adenta or Dowenya or some outskirts to go and build on a fresh land. We want to fit ourselves into the already congested system. And so these are some of the causes that plague us. We might not entirely blame the town planning people because, like I said earlier, sometimes we ourselves put pressure on them to grant these permits and to do the rezoning. And so these are the effects of some of the activities we invariably cause them to do. The issue about the open and the closed drains sometimes is because of our discharge of waste. It affects even the closed drains. On Saturday, I led a cleanup exercise in my community, Sogakope to be precise. When we lifted the covering of the drains, the amount of filth that was in the drains, you can't believe it. So there were places that were covered completely. We were thinking of breaking through to see what is under because the filth choked the water so that the water can't even flow. And so in as much as we are advocating for closed drains to be constructed, we should also think about our littering inactions. We litter so much that all these drains get choked and water cannot flow. So in as much as we sympathize with the people at Denta and all other places that got flooded during these rains, we are expecting more. I saw some buildings in Adenta and the water is at the roof level. I see, how can this happen? Water at roof level. It's even more than what happened during the spillage of the Akosombo Dam and the people of Mepe. It's so unfortunate. And so in as much as we are bringing these things to bear, let us also look at the actions we take as people. People who build, we should know that there's a rainy day, and when it comes, we are going to be affected. With these few words, I want to thank my colleague, Honorable Ramadan, for ably making this statement. But it's becoming a ritual. Every year on TV and in this house, we keep talking about flooding anytime it rains. And it looks like we are not taking positive actions to be able to reverse the situation. I just heard the former Minister of Works and Housing saying that there was unprecedented action taken. The question is, what has it resulted into? So let us sit at the round table again and look at very pragmatic efforts that we have to take as a people of this country to make sure that next year we don't come to this same house to come and lament, complain, call people to order, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. With these few words, I want to commend you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. As we think about new ways of constructing gutters, I believed we need to change our attitude. Why would you dump waste in a gutter? Why would you grant permit for a building to be constructed on waterways? Why would you build on waterways, whether with permit or without permit? Why will you put up a house on Ramsar Site Honorable members, I think the way we can deal with this issue is when we change our attitude as Ghanaians. I would direct that the statement be transferred to the minister responsible for works and housing and the minister responsible for local government, chieftaincy, and religious affairs to see how best we can come together as executive and the legislature to address this particular issue. If it will call for a legal regime, then we will have to do that. Because day in, day out, we complain about flood leading to death, and nothing is being done about it. I believe if we can change our attitude or put measures in place to get people who dump waste in gutters punished, I believe we will refrain from conducts that lead to our gutters being choked. Honourable members, we've come to the end of statement time has ended. I have this announcement for you before I will turn to leadership for guidance. Honourable members, we know the strategic plan of Parliament for the period 2020 to 2024 has expired. Parliament is therefore in the process of developing a new strategic plan, in view of which the Right Honourable Speaker has constituted a steering committee with a proposed membership as follows. 1. Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, First Deputy Speaker. Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra. Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins. Honorable Patrick Yaoboma. Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah. Dr. Rashid Dramani. And Professor Justice Nyingma Baole. These are the members of the steering committee. And the steering committee will be supported by the entire leadership of both the minority and the majority side. The leaders, together with the whips, are to support the steering committee. Honourable members, some members of Parliament from the majority side and the minority side have been selected to support the committee in doing or in putting in place the strategic plan. On the majority side, the members are Honorable James Agalga, Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra, Honorable Fred Kwesi Agbenyo, Honorable Professor Hamza Adam, Honorable Godfrey Seidu Jasau, Honorable Mohamed Mubarak Muntaka, Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agbotui, Honorable Agnes Namumolate, Honorable Abdul Rashid Hassan Felpo, Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu, Honorable Ablaji Fagomashi, Honorable Alfred Oko Vanderpoy, Honorable Soini Saibu Alhassan, Honorable Collins Daoda, Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, Honorable Dominica Kuritinga Ayene, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, Honorable Emilia Atta, Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, Honorable Eric Kopoku, Honorable Francis Xavier Kojo Sosu, Honorable Grace Ayensu Dankwa, Honorable Ibrahim Muntala Mohammed, Honorable Helen Adjoa Ntoso, Honorable James J. Kwesi, Honorable John Abdullah Jinapo, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, Honorable Lydia Lamisi Akavariba, Honorable Etnieleko Kwenu, Honorable Peter Lancheri Tobu, Honorable Peter Kwesi Notu Kotui, Honorable Richard Kure, Honorable Samuel Nate George, Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Honorable Sebastian Sandari, Honorable Sebastian Fred Dare, Honorable Shaibu Mahama, Honorable Titus Kofi Beyo, Honorable Zuera Mohammed Ibrahim. Honorable members from the minority side, we have Honorable Abna Oseasari, Honorable Professor Kinsley Nyako, Honorable Dr. Gideon Boako, Honorable Kojo Oponkruma, Honorable Abdul Kabiru Tia Mahama, Honorable Al-Hassan Kampuli Sulemana, Honorable Brian Achampo, Honorable Dominic Bingab Eduna Nitiwul, Honorable Isaac Boama Nyako, Honorable Reverend John Timfojo, Honorable Samuel Abdullah Jenapo, Honorable John Dako, Honorable Loretta Koko Asanti, Honorable Kobina Ochredako Mensa, Honorable Kwaku Ajiman Kwate, Honorable Kwame Animadu Entry, Honorable Nana Ayu Afriye, Honorable Muhammad Amin Adam, Honorable Nana Ajay Bafo Ewa, Honorable Patrick Boachi Yadom, Honorable Patrick Yauboma, Honorable Stephen Amwa, Honorable Yao Frimpong Ado, and Honorable Dr. Yao Edu Chum. Honorable members, this is very important in our life, strategic plan of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. It's about Parliament, and I will therefore encourage members to take key interest and participate fully in the deliberations of the committee. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have an addendum to the standing order. Instead of committee of the whole, we want a closed sitting so that we can discuss, get approval for certain matters.
Very well. So, yes, minority, if we.
Speaker, is in order to the prior discussions and agreement we had. No objection.
Yes. Are you on your feet? Yes. So, honorable members, I've seen the sense of the House. The House is accordingly constituted into a closed sitting. I would therefore ask the Marshal to do the needful